Hey guys, my name is Max, and I'm going to be the GPP guy at slurv.com. So this is my first video, so let's jump in. Actually, first let me apologize for my voice. I'm a little under the weather, so I sound a little bit like I've been smoking for 50 years. Anyway, so Monday, April 25th, we have 12-game slate, I believe. Only a couple teams off, and everything happening after 7 p.m. Let's talk about pitching. So the high-end pitchers today are Bumgarner and Syndergaard. Thor is amazing, and honestly, I think maybe I will play him in every single lineup. I usually build between like 3 and 10 teams for the DraftKings GPPs. And I don't think it's that bad an idea to just go ahead and plug him in everywhere. The second guy is Bumgarner, and with him, I think I'm going to take a fade approach. He really hasn't pitched out well to start the year, and even though the Padres are pretty awful, they hit left-handed pitching rather well, and that's kind of like the only time I like to not pick on them is when they're facing a lefty. The lower end guys that are, I think, in play are Salazar and Kennedy. There's a lot of strikeout upside here, which I like. And I think their matchups are pretty good. I mean, Minnesota strikes out a lot, so I don't think there's any reason to avoid those two guys. I'm going to mix them in pretty handily across my teams. So then we have Walker, who is a scary guy to own, but if you are not actually watching him pitch and run 3 and 2 counts on everybody, he can be pretty productive. He's had a great start to the year, and his matchup isn't that bad either. He's still only 23 years old, so maybe we should cut him some slack for the last 2 years of inconsistency. Drew Pomeranz is another guy who's really cheap and has good strikeout upside. And even though I don't like to pick on the Giants that much, they start a lot of lefties. And Pomeranz is really good against lefties. So I think he's going to be low owned, and you can stack Colorado if you're using him and, say, Syndergaard, and use some really good high-end bats. Let's see who else. Oh, so Archer has been a polarizing figure this year. I mean, we've loved him in the last couple of years, but this year he's been getting killed pretty much regularly. I mean, he's had some tough teams that he's faced, but again, he's facing Baltimore today, which is no picnic. Baltimore does strike out a little bit, so I mean, I don't know. With him, he's still really expensive. He's going to be super low owned, so for GPPs, I think you can totally use him. I think maybe I'll have him on 1 or 2 teams tops, though. So then some people will recommend, I think today, Stripling, Zimmerman, Greinke, or Porcello. I just don't see the upside for these guys. They don't strike out that many people, and their whips are pretty high. So for DraftKings, that's no bueno. So I think that's pretty much it for pitching for today. Let's talk about some hitting options. So the highest implied total teams are Colorado, Pittsburgh, Detroit, Boston, Cleveland, Seattle, and the Blue Jays. I don't think there's a total up for them just yet because they were supposed to face Chris Sale, but they no longer are. So they are going to be a little bit underpriced, which I actually really like for today's slate. So any slate that has Coors Field on it, I feel like we should talk about first. I think Pittsburgh today is a fade for me. There was a long game there yesterday that they played, and they're not facing De La Rosa anymore, who is awful. Bettis isn't as bad. I mean, he's not good, but he's not that bad. And their hitters are priced up because they're at Coors. They have a high implied total, but I think I am not going to play too many Pittsburgh guys today. Maybe Jaso and Polanco are the only 2 that I would use. As far as Colorado, Locke, that's starting for Pittsburgh, is terrible. So I think you can stack or sprinkle them in or do whatever, basically. I like Arenado, Story, and Rayburn mostly. So let's see, the Blue Jays guys. Yeah, the Blue Jays guys I really like. Encarnacion is only 4,200. Smoke at 2,700. Donaldson, Bautista. I think all these guys are in play. Carrera's been on fire, and he's pretty cheap too. Let's see who else we can stack today. I like Red Sox. Teheran is really bad against lefties, so you can use Ortiz, Shaw, Bradley, stuff like that, guys like that on the Red Sox. Other couple teams that I really like, I think the Indian stack will be underowned today against Malone. They have the prototype leadoff hitter now in Santana, so I kind of like using some Indian stacks today. Tigers have also been like really bad lately, and I got burned stacking them on Friday, but I think today could be the day that they go off. They just rested Miggy and Upton yesterday, kind of gave them a little mental break, so I think maybe they get it going today. Another team I like this today is Seattle. They're playing at home, which is kind of a crappy park, but I think that their stack is going to be underowned also. And they're facing Doug Fister, who pitches to contact, and most people have really good hard contact against him. Seager hit a home run yesterday, so I feel like he could bust out. Then they also have Aoki, Seth Smith, Adam Lind, Leonis Martin, who's super cheap and has a good power speed combo. I know he's hitting like 8th or 9th or whatever, but I don't think that matters when you can get some really cheap points from him. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it for today. I think you guys should stop by the Slurf chat room. I'm going to be there today if you want to discuss any strategy. And good luck in your games.